Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sparkles of Love Transmissions. My name is Ana-La-Rai, and I am a pure source channel. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. The first episodes that I have done, I brought through messages and that sort of thing. But what I want to do today is I'm going to channel live. And because I realize I always say I'm a channel, but when I'm doing downloads, I am channeling, and often when I'm bringing messages through. But today we're going to do some channeling. Or I'm going to do some channeling. And so I'm also going to answer your questions. So if you have any questions you want to write in, please do so. And I will do my best to answer some of them. I'll channel the answers. And so hopefully that'll be fun for some of you that are with us live. And so I don't know who's going to come through here today, but let's get started. And as always, we'll get started by getting connected to the light. So I always throw my arms up, but you don't have to. It's just the way I do it. So just see, feel, or sense as I bring in that pure source love and just receive. Just allow that beautiful energy to start flowing down into you. And let me just see who wants to come through today. Greetings, beloved ones. We are first light. And we are a collective consciousness of beings, of energy, of light and love that come forth and overlight what you call the awakening on your planet. And we wish to speak to you today and give you an energetic update and support Ana-La-Rai in answering your questions. And so we share with you that we have worked with Ana-La-Rai for a few years now, and we overlight the Alchemy Collective Consciousness, who many of you know and come on our Tuesday global meditations. And let us, we want to fill you with love first, and then we will begin talking in our transmissions. So just open your hearts and receive. Beautiful. And in this time, 2024, we shared recently that you are in a time of significant potentials. The opportunities for shifting and growth, for change, both as an individual, as a collective consciousness, for humanity and for our planet, are beyond anything that have been on your planet more than 100 years, and in fact much, much longer than that. This year, this what you call calendar year, this slice of time, and we don't do time, but here you do in this dimension. This slice of time is so significant. We cannot express enough the importance of it. It is the time when you can change more than you have ever changed in your entire human life, and maybe all of your human lives. It is the time when the planetary changes are at the highest potentials. And so we say these things to you for you to take the most of every opportunity that comes forward for you, for healing, for joy, for exploring, for creativity. The potentials are tremendous. And we know that some of you have already felt those. And in this time frame, in this 2024 time, as in other times, but the veils, as you call them, are thinning. The energies, you call them veils, between the dimensions are becoming thinner or lessening. And these are simplistic descriptions because it is far more intricate than this. But you can hear the guides easier. It is easier to release things, to heal. It is easier to receive more source light. It is easier to discern the truth. It is easier to feel the energies and the vibrations. Things are manifesting more quickly. And that is why you must be careful for what you wish for. And you want to always look at things in positive light. And it is the time to begin to be aware of your own dualities. Earth is a planet that was created in a dimension of dualities. And here you believe and you live as though there is right and wrong, and good and bad, and up and down, and dark and light. And that was created so that each of you could have the maximum experience that your soul was wishing. But as things shift, you are beginning to move more and more from the polarities and eventually into that vibration of oneness where there is no right and wrong, no up and down. In the higher dimensions, that does not exist. But here you came to have these experiences. So we invite you in this time to continue to observe and see the duality that is present everywhere around you and how it impacts your energetic fields, your belief systems, your responses and reactions, how it impacts your human life. And the more that you can step out of the judgment, the more that you can step out of battle mode and seeing things as good or bad, right or wrong, the easier it will be for you. The easier it will be for you. And that does not mean that some things happen that you perceive as negative or bad. And it does not mean that some things happen that you perceive as wonderful and good. You are still having experiences as individual souls and as a collective consciousness. And there has been great manipulations of the energetic fields around Earth. And some of you have heard of these or spoken of them. And these are beginning to be resolved and dissolved. And this manipulation, and it doesn't matter by whom or when, much of it was agreed to by the collective consciousness of humanity for deeper experiences. And some of the things that were placed that were not agreed to are being lifted by various beings of light and groups working with humanity in different ways. But one asks us here, has a lot of dark entities on Earth been removed since the total eclipse? So we ask you, beloved, first to go into your own heart. And those who are with us live, go into your hearts We want you to feel or discern what you think is true in this. We want you to feel it. Go ahead and just feel it. So they ask, has a lot of the dark entities on Earth been removed since the total eclipse? So those that wrote the question and the others, we ask you to write in, what do you think is the truth here? What does it feel like to you? So please write in and we will read the responses. Do you feel? And we will respond, but we want to hear what you feel, what you are sensing, your own energy around this. We will allow you a moment here because we know there is a little bit of a time lag to answer our question. So all of you, please respond. So maybe the question is not about dark entities. Maybe the question is that you are feeling more source light. Maybe on your own journeys, because of some of the things that are occurring, you are receiving more light. You are clearing your own stuff. You are feeling more joy and more lightness. So one says feels more like a transformation, a change rather than a removal. So what summarize? So when you say please summarize, what are you asking us about? So what is happening now is that the energy on your planet is changing. The diamond lights are coming forth. New waves of ascension energies are coming forth. There has been a new energy come through on your planet that has never been here before, that has been stored deep within the earth for the future to fuel, continue to fuel the awakening and to support the change. And yes, the energies on your planet are getting lighter. You are receiving more light. You are receiving more of the frequencies, especially those of you that have worked with Ana-La-Rai and do the diamond light twice a day. You are receiving more. Are all the dark entities gone? No, no. Remember, they have free will too. And it is not, no, they have not been all removed. And, but what also happens as the frequencies on the planet raise and the vibration as on your planet increases, there are beings of that hold less light that no longer wish to stay. That no longer wish to stay. It is not comfortable for them, and you will see that in human form, and we are not talking about anyone in a negative way, but in human form, there are many humans choosing to exit at this point in time. Even the one speaking, a family member close to her in a few weeks ago did. And they are opportunities for some of them choosing to work with Earth and groups from the other side. But not everyone is choosing to stay at this time of change, because the time of change can be very difficult for many. And especially for those who are less aware of energy and vibration and the awakening than all of you are. And so you are feeling more of the lightness, and that makes us glad to hear, because you are receiving more and more higher frequencies and vibrations. But if you speak to your neighbors down the street that might not have any awareness than this, they may feel it or experience it differently as irritation or uncomfortable or uncertainty or anxiety that they don't understand. It is almost like it feels jittery to some. So many of you might know people whose anxiety is increasing. Does this make sense to you? Does this make sense to you? And we would share with you that much more is happening behind the scenes than you are aware. It is not for many of the light beings to share everything. That is not within the accordance of the divine plan. And much of humanity cannot understand most of what is occurring. Your brain can't comprehend it, and it is keeps you in the brain space. And where you need to be, where it is most beneficial for you all to be, is in the heart space. The more you can feel the love and the light, the more you can discern the truth, the more you can move in and observe yourself when you are in judgment or condemning. The more that you can feel all of this and be in the peace, the more you are supporting yourself, the awakening, and those around you. And those around you. And so we continue to say, as do most or all of the guides that you are hearing, is that it is a vital time for you to release your old beliefs, to do your own, what you call healing or clearing, to start to also change your human behaviors. So you may have released the energy around something, but then look at the human physical patterns that you might still be doing. And you want to let go of those and move more into peace, into trust, spend more time in nature, spend more time in joyful activities. And one says, I am occasionally having days that I want to do nothing more than sit in the quietness. Is this about the changing energies and not needing to be busy all the time, or about me making more personal changes? We would say it is about both. It is about both. As you move into the higher and higher frequencies, more of peace, there is the less desire and need to be busy. And yes, you still have groceries to get and laundry to do and things like this. We understand this. That is all part of the human experience. But the busyness of just doing becomes less important, because you start to understand that the busyness is often, though not always, an avoidance of what you are feeling or what you are afraid of. And so as you move into the higher vibrations of peace, it is easier to be in the stillness and quiet. It is easier to be in your garden, or to go out and paint, or to play with grandchildren, or to float around in the water. It is easier to have this time because you are not irritated by the stillness, by the stillness. And so another asks, how can we integrate our soul fragments? Well, we know that Ana-La-Rai has recently done a piece around this, and it is in her workshop, in her shop. There was a advanced opportunity full moon, and we think it was it Archangel Michael? One of them, we are not sure. Let us ask the one beside us to look it up and we'll tell you, did a beautiful process for you. And on integrating soul fragments, because now, again, this is much easier to do. And the more you can bring all your soul fragments, so those of you that don't know that, it is like in various lifetimes when you have taken, yes, Archangel Michael. And when was it?
August 2022.
August 2022, and he brought this process through that really helps you, that is quite simple to do. And soul fragments are pieces of yourself. Yes, it is there. Healing and integrating your soul fragments. And it is in the Sparkles of Love in the shop. And soul fragments are pieces of yourself you left behind in times and spaces here on planet Earth, and locations and other lifetimes that it was usually too painful to deal with. And so you shut a piece of yourself down and kind of left it there, not necessarily consciously, but subconsciously. And so you say, it is as though you cut yourself off from part of you because it was too painful. Because it was too painful. And one says the soul retrieval is a wonderful process and have been using it since 2022. And it is a wow. Beautiful. And another says, thank you. That really resonates and makes perfect sense. Can you please define enlightenment? Well, this is a difficult one because many of you see it differently. So how would we define it for you? When you reach a state of enlightenment, it is a state of grace. It is a state where you are filled with peace, where you are constantly within the flow. And it is a state of knowing the self, knowing, truly knowing the self. It is a state of expansion beyond the human form. Beyond the human form. And we would say that it is not the end state, for there are many layers of enlightenment, just like there are many layers within your earth planes. But really, the first step or state that you move into as you begin the phase of enlightenment, or the layers of enlightenment, is peace. That you are in this constant state of peace. And it doesn't mean that you are no longer triggered or that you don't slip out of peace occasionally, but it is a more constant state for you without having to work to get there. It is new levels of self-awareness. And within enlightenment, you are not in the state of judgment of self or others. And it is a higher vibration that you constantly move into or live within. And of course, you are in what they call the flow. That things come with grace and ease. You manifest easily. You can shift easily. And it is challenging to achieve in a human form, but that is changing. And it doesn't mean people in human form have not reached enlightenment. We want to be very clear on that. And we would say that as you reach this stage of enlightenment, of that stage that there are many levels, one of them is mastery over the physical body as well. And this is many definitions, and others may disagree, but we think that it will help you understand a little bit about what it is. It is, and it is also in that state of what you call bliss. And you have an expanded view of things, far less attached to the human outcomes. And so we know that is many things, but we hope that that will help you. In my dream time, I received the message, follow the path of illumination. Could you clarify about that? So let us talk about it generally and then specifically for the one that asked. So the path of illumination is simply the light of your soul. You want to follow the light that your soul is leading you on, because the more awakened, the more self-aware you become, the more you're connected you are with your higher selves, and especially those of you, as we were speaking of it the other day, with your advanced chakra system, you easily more connect with all that you are. And now with the thinning veils and the connections, it is easier and easier to connect with higher versions of yourself to guide you. And so it is following and feeling that guidance, that light that your soul is laying out for you, which is different, can be different than what the human in you wishes, what the human issue in you wishes. And so for you individually, Araciel, let us see here. So we would say that it is very similar for you, but the message that is coming through is that you are still in a in somewhat of a struggle or resistance, and you have not, your human life and your spiritual life are still quite separate, and you have not, you are beginning to, but are still, they are still a long way in the process of integrating. And that is how it is for many on your planet. That, and we would say even Ana-La-Rai, who was speaking a long time ago, there was her human life and her spiritual life that were quite different. They are very, very integrated now. There's even last week, as she was dealing with funerals and eulogies and packing up the sister's life, it was very, very integrated. So Araciel, does this make sense to you? Does that resonate with you? Does that resonate with you? And so we would say to you, the more that you can do for yourself in terms of letting go of your old beliefs, of moving forward in your vibrational frequencies, moving upward, this is the time to do it. Do not waste any time this year. It is the most tremendous gift you can give yourself this year, is to do you, to do you. And so let's see, this is a personal question. This will be our last one, and then we will wrap up. I worked with a spiritual channel entity who called himself Eyes of the Sparrow. Is he still around? And can you say hello say hi from me? We do not feel his presence any longer. We do not feel his presence any longer. he has, we would say, gone on to other things. Gone on to other things, if that makes sense to you. And how do you integrate it? I guess it is answered. Yes, you need to. So we want you to understand that many of you hide or separate your 3D life from your personal life. And that is where it starts, the separation. So you are holding yourself in separation. So we hope that makes sense. So we want to share a couple of things because we too like to share for Ana-La-Rai. And as many of you know, this background is a piece of Ana-La-Rai's recent art. And it is not available on her website yet. She is keeping this one. But she has extended on her website, Sparkles of Love, all her original artwork with 60% off for one more week to May 1st. And all of them are energetic pieces as well as pieces of beauty. And she downloads energy into them, and then she channels a personal message for the receiver. So this is your last opportunity. She will not be doing this again. And she did it at our request. We wanted these people out, these pieces out into the world supporting you. And we also want to let you know that beginning on Monday, and the family of L, which are beyond the dimensions, and Ana-La-Rai are doing what you call the essence of purity. And you can choose between 11 days or 22 days. And it is a direct download, bypassing all your beliefs and your distortions of your original essence, your soul blueprint. And they are done through a private Facebook group, and they are up 24 hours and then the next day. And so you receive one for either 11 days. They are 5 minutes. And if you are doing 22 days, the second half are 10 minutes. And they begin with a 15-minute on the 1st, the 11th, and the 22nd. It is a powerful download in these energies of your direct from your highest self into your human form. And so we would highly recommend that for any of you that want to continue that process of awakening. And so we are First Light, and it is our great pleasure, as always, to work with and through our beloved Ana-La-Rai. And we thank each of you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you at other times, and our blessings and love to each of you. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for your questions. And yeah, I'll see you next week on Thursday. I have no idea what I'm doing yet, so we'll see then. Hope you have a great week. Bye for now.